it is great that they're on board, and then we can actually start gaining momentum.
Okay, so what was the biggest shift that happened this week?
The biggest shift that happened this week, I'd say, would be my mindset. Last week was quite rough. It wasn't rough, but it was more of, I was in a rush to get things going, to try to push as hard as I can. But now it's late November, it's going into December. People are, like all companies and the whole country is starting to close down. And I think also that's helping me to just ease on the brakes and just actually focus on the story itself instead of the producing aspect.
How do you think that this change will help you? Like the fact that you're not rushing anymore?
The fact that I'm not rushing anymore, I think will help me in that I'm not going to force things. I think that's one of the most challenging things, is that you want certain aspects to be part of your film, whether it's an actor or this location or whatever it may be. But everything, if you give it time and allow the project to grow organically, everything will fall into place as it should, and everything will actually work out perfectly for the production, and it won't actually be something that is forced.
Okay, so you secured some development funding this week. How did you feel when you got that?
So we secured development funding this week, which is essential for the production to actually start gaining momentum. If you don't have development funding, then you won't have people that want to come on your project. I felt like it was something that I worked towards. I created a lot of decks, investment decks, creative decks, even combination of those to make pitch decks. So then when I actually went to my development investors and I told them about their return on investment on investing in the project early and what are the benefits of coming on the project early, like being part of the premiere, having an executive producer credit, they were very excited. And the thing is that if you do your research well, it actually makes sense why, if you had money, why you would want to invest in this production. So for me, it was more of, it just showed that I did my homework well. But of course, it is great that they're on board, and then we can actually start gaining momentum as the year progresses. Well, as next year progresses. It feels like momentum, not pressure. I don't feel pressure anymore. I think when we started this, which was literally like 2 weeks ago, I felt a lot of pressure in trying to get things done. But now it's more of allowing it to unfold and just doing the best you can to make sure that it unfolds in the way that you would like it to unfold.
What does development funding actually allow you to do?
So development funding is important for building your story. So it'll be things like script development, where we have a script doctor that's on board. She's helping making sure that the story makes sense and is whole. I also have a co-writer. He's also on, that's helping with the script development. So how we're actually doing it is that I'm writing the script from the treatment from beginning to end, and he's writing the scenes from end to beginning. So we actually are making sure that everything is following a narrative thought and is actually making sense. And that's very important. And then other aspects with development will be getting your line producers on board, pitching to other development investors at these film festivals. So you need money in order to go to these film festivals and to stand in front of an audience and pitch your project to them. So development funding is funding that's actually needed in order for your project to develop.
So what were the most important notes from the script doctor?
I think the most important thing from the script doctor was that each character needed to have their own unique voice. So when you're writing the script, you have all of these characters that you put in. Now, of course, your main focus will be for your key characters, that they have their own voice. And that's what your focus is when you're writing the entire script. But sometimes your supporting characters are actually lost in that narrative train. And it's important that every single character that you have in your story has their specific need, their want, their fear, and pretty much their voice. So you should just ask the right questions.
Why is this person doing that? How are they doing that? When are they going to do that? Have they done this before?
It's questions like that make you think about your character and give it more depth.
Which note did you resist at and why?
I don't resist to any notes that come my way. Everything is important in trying to develop it. So you have to always keep an open mind. And that's actually why you're doing the script doctoring, because you know that your narration of the story is one-dimensional and you need as many professional dimensions as possible to make sure that it makes narrative sense. So there was nothing that I was resistant towards.
What would you say was the most difficult part of rewriting the script this week?
The most difficult thing about rewriting your script is reading the same story
over and over again.
I feel like I have maybe like a mild OCD where I enjoy going over the same patterns over and over again. But that is visually. So as a director, for me, if a shot isn't looking good, I can spend hours just making sure that that shot is beautiful. But as a writer, it's very abstract. You're literally just looking at words. So when you're going over the same thing over and over again, it's not tangible. It's not in front of you. It's all in your head. So you have to keep on picturing that same image over and over again. And that can actually be quite draining.
Okay, what part of the script feels the strongest now after the rewrite?
We asked the question, what's the measure of true greatness? And in our story, in Grows Giant, the measure of true greatness is running as yourself. Yeah. It's growing authentically. It's also having the patience to grow authentically. So that's what our philosophical truth is. So that's what you have to try and hone in on your story early on.
Okay, what would you say still needs refinement going forward?
I think the pacing of the story will still need refinement. It's important to actually make sure that you have all of your elements in your story that make sense. But pacing is the most important thing. Like when I was watching the Netflix movie Victor Frankenstein, for me that movie lacked pacing and it loses your attention if your pacing is off. So that's actually one of the essential things. So you pretty much have your philosophical truth and your pacing to get to your philosophical truth. That's the art.
Next section, what is the next step that you are waiting on?
The next step now is to actually pace our script. We are rewriting the second draft to create a polished third draft, and then from there we will then send it to our Netflix accredited writers. That's if we want to actually send it over to Netflix. There was something that I was reading up that Netflix's business model doesn't actually cater a lot for theatrical release, and Maddock Pictures is all about theatrical release. I want to make a movie where when you sit in the cinema, you are completely immersed. This isn't a TV movie, this is a cinema movie. So it depends who we send our script over to for approval. But I was even thinking Paramount Pictures, because those are big theatrical distributors where they like to have their movies in theaters and then it's on your SVOD.
Okay, what feels unclear or uncertain now?
What feels uncertain is who our main producers will be on this. So the thing is that I come from a different industry and I came into the film industry. I don't really have a lot of formal education on it. I've just read a lot of textbooks and I just did a 1-year course on filmmaking, which was very basic. So my business acumen in the film industry is still very green and I need someone that actually has a lot more experience. But my creative aspect, I think that's quite good, not to toot my own horn.
What moment this week made you feel stressed or overwhelmed?
I think when you're looking at everything, when you're looking at the top of the mountain, that's what can actually make you feel very overwhelmed. How are you going to make this big production in your head? Because the ideas are limitless. That's the G20 summit. So I think that when you look at the top of the mountain, everything can seem quite overwhelming. How are you going to make this big movie in your head? The ideas in my head are very big and I'd like to build a world. There's a lot of components that you have to put in and it needs to seem authentic as well. So that's the biggest challenge. How are you going to be able to create something that seems real, that's completely fictional? You just take it one step at a time. You focus on what's ahead of you. And right now it's script development. Once script development is done, then I focus on getting a producer. And once getting a producer is done, then I focus on the next step.
What moment made you feel proud or excited?
I felt very proud when The script doctor said that Grows Giant is a great story, and she says that it will be a sellable story as well. She even said before we started that we are off to an extraordinary start, which made me very happy, because this is someone who's been in the industry for, I don't know, 30, 40 years, longer than I've been alive. And yeah, to get a compliment from an industry veteran like that was really special. And even from the VFX artists and our composers that we're involving, when they read the story, they were also very impressed with it. So yeah, it's a great feeling that people like your story and that they believe in your story.
Okay. If you had to describe this week in one word, what would it be?
Sure. The only thing that I can think of with describing this week is exhale. Just take your time, like just breathe. Everything will work out exactly how it should, and you need to have faith that it will, and just keep on moving, knowing that everything will work out as perfectly as it should for your movie. That's week 3 done on the road to the $1 million movie. There's a lot more to come. We're still in the very early stages of development. As the project develops, there's going to be more insights on how to actually physically get your project on the road. And yeah, stay tuned and subscribe for more. I feel like that was a little bit off. No, I don't know. You tell me. You direct.
No, we're good.
Okay.